Mapaila. Long live the Alliance, long live. Forward to socialism, forward. Down with capitalism, down. Thank you very much, Comrade Chairperson. Greetings to the leadership of Cosatu, led by Comrade Zingi Salusi and members of the Central Executive Committee, the leadership of the ANC, led by President Ramaphosa and members of the ANC-NEC, and the leadership of the Communist Party, led by Comrade Charles Tofile and members of our CC present here. Comrades, today we want to acknowledge, as the Communist Party, the critical role played by workers in the history of our country, in shaping our democracy, and in their historic struggle against the exploitative system of capitalist production and its racist and sexist articulations and its forms of oppression and domination, notably that of colonialism and apartheid imperialism. In the history of our country, the Communist Party contributed itself to progressive trade unionism. We remember many critical struggles that we contributed to waging. For instance, the African mine worker struggles in 1946, in which the Communist Party played a critical role, and nearly 100,000 workers took part in that strike, which brought down operations in 13 mines and others. And this led, of course, to the apartheid regime banning the Communist Party through the Suppression of Communism Act in 1950, making it the first organization in the country to be banned by the apartheid regime. Of course, today, the capitalist bosses continue to oppress workers in various workplaces, and they continue to make sure that workers' wages are suppressed and workers' livelihoods are suppressed. And therefore, it is critical that the democratic movement, led by the democratic government, must strengthen the capacity to protect workers' rights. On the one hand, will require workers to broaden their worker unity, to defend the hard-won gains, and to deepen the emancipatory struggles of the working class. Because it is clear, comrades, the labor laws enshrined in our constitution are not a favor from anybody, not even from the democratic forces in this country. They are the hard-won rights by workers themselves, led by the progressive trade unions. It is therefore critical that we build our own workers' power, wage the struggle for further recognition of many important rights of workers in the current conditions of capitalist development and its reorganization of the workplace. The SACP, therefore, take this opportunity as well to reiterate its solidarity with workers, particularly those who have been dismissed by various workplaces, including currently workers who are working at Macro, workers of Sakao and other unions who are currently engaged in collective bargaining and in other different sectors of our workplaces. We want to overemphasize this point, comrade, that workers' unity is the main weapon towards their victory. And therefore, we are committed to work with workers to strengthen and widen working class organization and unity across the board. Equally, comrades, we want to say to the working class, it is your right to exercise your own independent power at all times, in all situations, and enter into any alliances and broad fronts that you so wish. And therefore, we have made a call as a Communist Party for the reconfiguration of the alliance in our country in order to maximize the importance of working class power and the important critical tool of utilizing political power in our hands as a movement. It is therefore critical that this question of the reconfiguration of the alliance is to secure the unity of the workers and to assert the aspirations of the working class as enshrined in our common program of the National Democratic Revolution. And therefore, we are calling for the reconfiguration of the alliance, in particular to re-emphasize, amongst others, the following: to make sure that neoliberal policy prescripts, including the austerity measures, as well as state capture and other forms of corruption, should become a thing of the past. In other words, we are seeking for a thoroughly democratic consensus, seeking consultations on both policy and the selection of those who are mandated to implement our own policies at all levels of the state. Inclusivity of the alliance is a critical criterion in this regard. Therefore, we are saying we require common accountability, not one accountability to one alliance component, but accountability to all alliance components. We want to endorse the principle of collective leadership, of common discipline, common deployment, and common accountability, as well as common recall. In other words, no ministers must act as if they are independent of the alliance collective. Comrade Chair, 5 minutes are still all right, isn't it? Here's my time.
Okay.
Yes, I see you want to suppress me before my time is. You gave me 10 minutes. Let me finish my 10 minutes, please. Thank you. You don't have to like what I say. Thank you very much. Unless you didn't put your own time limit. Yeah. Please, you can sit down, comrade. Thank you very much. It is in this regard, comrade, that this kind of behavior is unacceptable, comrade Singiswa. I've been given 10 minutes and I'm still within my framework of 10 minutes and I'm being disrupted. In other words, comrades, the alliance must act as a strategic political center of our shared common political strategy of the National Democratic Revolution towards the attainment of the ideals in the Freedom Charter, not least especially the ideals of the economic sections of the of the Freedom Charter. In this regard, comrades, the SACP will not buy faces to anyone. The alliance and its political programs and the democratic movement, the democratic government must implement the decisions of the alliance. It is therefore critical that as we call for unity of the alliance and the unity of the working class, including our common unity to fight against capital and against austerity that has made it impossible for us, for instance, to drive a much more radical implementation of the National Democratic Revolution because of austerity measures. That is why, for instance, we have a problem with electricity in this country. Partly it's because of these austerity measures. We have a problem about the public sector wage deal. Partly because of the austerity measures. These questions and others must be on the table of the alliance, and the outcome from those meetings must be implemented by all ministers, irrespective of what kind of a minister it is that is responsible for this. Thank you very much. Amanda! Long live the alliance, long live! Thank you. Comrade Chair, I still saved you 2 minutes, and you are still harassing me. It's unacceptable.
Amanda!